Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my live stream, in which I try to talk about common sense factors within the minutes of 10 minutes to half an hour to 1 hour and 1 hour and a half, depending on who's on and my mood and shit. Okay. Of course, I swear, and I talk about multiple topics. I'm all over the place like a schizo. Okay. I may sound delusional, but I'm never delusional. Okay, all right. Only what they say is what I speak, so it doesn't make me delusional. Okay, but people want to put their own subjective matters and opinions in it. But of course, hello, I'm not your average man. I'm not your beta man. Welcome to my live video speed, in which I talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you come in here, please activate the notification bar, so you can get my emails, okay? Get to my YouTube. As soon as I get on the YouTube live, then of course you'll see me live. If you just want to see a regular video, you'll see that. Sometimes you'll see my wife. Sometimes you'll see my kids. If you have questions, you become wiser. If you have questions, you become wiser, okay? So we got the canary virus going on now, East Asia, guys. Y'all stay indoors now. Y'all be safe now. And those people who believe in Jesus, okay, all right, good luck. Good luck, because there's more powerful deities than Jesus out there. You may not believe me, but if you do your goddamn research and you become constructive and critical thinking, have critical thinking skills, you'll understand that religion is folly. If you did more research, by fact and by far. Now, the topics for the day, okay, however, I always talk about multiple subjects and topics. As you can see that I got things laid out if I want to change subjects or shift it and shit, because I never have a dull moment anytime in my goddamn video. I can talk well off by myself rather than have people on the internet. So but the privilege is, the incentive is, if you join me and you send me your Cash App or your PayPal, I will post it on my fucking description box, so people can actually look at the description and actually see you. And the links will be connected directly to your PayPal or your goddamn Cash App, and I will show your profile for your Facebook if you desire, if you come on, okay, on the video only. Okay. Now, do you know what I learned? Okay, you cannot post your PayPal Cash App thing on someone else's comment box section. So please understand, you won't be able to do it if you try to advertise yourself. I can easily delete it too, and I can easily see it. So don't do that. That's rude, okay? But you can do it. I say I don't really care if people did it or not, but you could just ask permission or something like that. But I'm not trying to be like a Donovan Sharpio and shit and be all edgy about it and stinky about it, okay? But please understand, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. Okay, I can sound cringy as hell, but I do that on purpose, okay? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. My memory is good, but not great. Okay, I'm not a technical person, so I have to keep things simple. You have to simplify things for me. I'm more in the left brain hemisphere on the alpha beta wavelength. I think that the more emotional a person is, the more likely they can remember things. You know what I'm saying? But they're stagnant in their. I can't move around and dance as much, so it's a complex thing. It's all subjective matter. It's all subjective matter. But let's get on with the topics today. Today we're going to talk about kindred versus a soulmate. What are those things? What the hell are those things? Okay, let me see. Rad has just joined. How you been? I just talk about.
How you been?
What's going on, Rad?
Not much.
Rad Dad. Rad Dad. So I just want you to understand that Rad Dad actually has a YouTube, so you guys should follow him. I'm gonna link his description inside of the description notice. And what do you want to talk about today? Today I want to talk about what is a kindred spirit versus a soulmate. And I also want to talk about there's a little earlier before this video, before I made this live video, there was another video I made, 33 ways if you found in the vault. Okay, unicorn. You know what I'm saying? I talked about that, but today, I told them in that video that I'm going to make this video about what is a kindred spirit, what is a soul, and also want to talk about what is that one more thing I want to talk about? What? Divorce distribution.
What you talking about, man?
Divorce distribution. So what do you want to talk about today, Rad Dad?
Okay, today I want to talk about evolution.
Okay.
Of this, of the animals and species and things like that. The other thing is people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and folks like them.
Yeah, he's highly sophisticated. He's smart as hell though, but I don't think he knows everything about the universe. It's all speculative. So he don't talk on common sense. Sometimes when I listen to Neil deGrasse, just because he's black, that little stereotype, just like Obama, people think that they're all geniuses, but it's more of a philosophy, because if you haven't done the research yourself, then you're wasting your time. Bill Nye, I used to watch the Bill Nye the Science Guy until I realized that some of the stuff that he was talking about is debunked. But I admire watching guys who are science people and shit.
Yeah, I can confirm a lot of the stuff that Neil deGrasse Tyson was talks about, if not all of it. He's very smart. He don't get into the political stuff. He don't talk about the he doesn't talk about too much about his personal views. He doesn't say his belief explicitly, his belief in the supernatural. He never talks about it. He just say if it is real, then the world will look a lot like it does today. And if it wasn't, it would too. Some genius shit like that. And he gets people questioning. He puts the seed in their mind and makes them think, hey, maybe he's right. Okay.
You always have a piece of paper and pencil with you, because sometimes a question will pop up and you want to talk about it on your video. Because I make my videos once a day, like between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. And most of the time when I'm in the mood, But other than that, you should have a piece of paper and pencil just in case, like I do. So that some question may pop up, you want to talk about it in another video. Because we have to be all over the place, because I'm schizo, you know what I'm saying? I don't like talk about one dull topic, you know what I'm saying? But Neil deGrasse, did you know the water? Let me tell you something about Neil deGrasse. I was wondering about that salt water. Do you know there's a fault line somewhere where clear water and salt water is separate? You heard about that?
Yeah, that's a lot of places like that. They call it estuary.
Yeah, and that's what I was reading some in the Mahabharata, the Hindu text, that the earth was destroyed by fire, ice, and water. So imagine all of the crystal clear water you can see straight down, but you can't see. The whole world should be like that. The water should be more crystal clear. What happened to the water? Because the gods destroyed the planet at one time because of human arrogance and pride. Okay.
Yeah.
And
well, they're retarded.
Yeah, it's really not. It's just how we built and stuff, because human beings live with other species, but the demiurge gods refuse to allow us to congregate with other races now. They have made a fine line between communication with other races that can enhance Homo sapiens' mental psychosis. Because if we become like the Star Trek Next Generation universe, right, we can actually destroy each other. We won't even get to that point. Human beings are too childless and too greedy to focus on humanitarian in essence. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. People like Neil deGrasse Tyson, you see, smart people who are sociable. There's a lot of smart people aren't sociable. You feel me? A lot of smart people, they'll stay in your lab or room creating things, but they're not very sociable. They can't really talk to people. And when they do talk to people, people are like, what's wrong? That's weird. To see a scientist being able to talk and explain things to people in a fun way without making people mad. What? There's scientists like that? That's why Neil deGrasse Tyson is amazing to me. People like him. Okay.
I know one thing for sure. People will fight about him with is the flat Earth theory. That shit is annoying as hell, man.
Oh my god.
What do you think about it?
Flat Earthers? The Earth is definitely flat, bro.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so.
You don't know so because you wasn't never there. So we use the semantics on that.
I know so. You know how I know?
How do you know?
Because the spirits told me, man.
Okay, you believe because the spirits told you. Okay, maybe so.
Just fucking with you. The Earth round, nigga.
See, my spirits don't tell me about secrets and shit. They just tell me something like magic spells sometimes. My dark voice tells me about magic spells like killing the murderer and taking their eyeballs because they're partially possessed or some shit like that. And I'm like, I can't possibly think of things like that. Maybe because of the video games. I don't know. I have to kill a murderer in order to get this possession or some shit like that. And it's kind of twisted because I can't hear. And then they got to take the blood of a baby or some shit like that. I don't need. Now, if you hear some shit like that talking to you, and they also, my voice is telling me how to get to Ethiopia, which I actually have achieved. And I have a car and I have stability and also the Canary virus. It told me about all this shit beforehand. I think my voice is on the right path.
Okay. Yeah, the coronavirus struck in 2003 too, with the SARS coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
They said it came from bats too. But like I said, man, he tells some real shit, and I like how, because if you get into the supernatural stuff, you talk about supernatural stuff, nobody will possibly agree with you on that, right? Nobody possibly agrees on all the spirit. No two people have the same sense of supernatural spirituality. Okay, no two people. That's why people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm glad they stay on topic and don't go to supernatural stuff, because if you talk about what you can see right in front of you, nobody can dispute that. Everybody should at least have some view of the objective world one way or another. Like, for example, you know that if you fall down the steps, you'll hit your head, or you'll hurt something, or you know if you drop a ball, it'll land on the ground. For example, physics and stuff like that. You know that.
Uh-huh.
You know that you have genes, you know that you have cells and things like that. So you don't have to, there's no debate in that. So people agree on those fine conditions. And then people like Neil deGrasse Tyson come in and say, okay, let me extend that. And hopefully I can change your view on things that we can't talk about. That's too personal. Like religion.
When I listen to Neil deGrasse, I think he's just convincing, you know, because Bill Nye was convincing to me until some of the things that he was talking about was debunked. But how the hell do I know? Because I don't do the science myself. So I'm like, fuck it. Because Bill Nye, you know who Bill Nye is?
Yeah, nigga.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I grew up with him. Reading Rainbow. Okay. I grew up with all that stuff. I'm old as hell, man. Sesame Street.
Oh, that's everybody. Everybody grew up with Sesame Street and Bill Nye.
Yeah.
That's everybody. That's multiple generations. Sesame Street, Bill Nye, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, okay? Everything. Mm-hmm. Everybody grew up with that. Because those are like, they span across multiple generations. They reached millions of children, young and old now. That's the thing about those three. But yeah, those kind of people, that kind of stuff is important because it teaches people. The three things I just said, they teach people stuff. They teach them how to be scientifically literate. Despite their worldview about supernatural, people need to be scientifically literate. I think if people's views on the world don't match with science, then they're wrong, and they should really go reevaluate it. Because if it don't match with what's right in front of them, if it don't match with what they see in front of them, then they really need to go do some more research. And people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, Sesame Street, all that helps with that. Up until recently, when Sesame Street's been about that bullshit, that gender stuff, I'm like, oh no, they're trying to tell us blue is green and red is purple. Sad.
As a matter of fact, some people who are actually colorblind do see multiple. I didn't know about the color perspective when it comes down to people who are blind. Some people actually see different colors and different shades. I forgot what the name of it's called, astigmatism or something, right? Is that called? That's what it's called.
Yeah, astigmatism is when
they can see a slightly different color. Like some people can see green as the color red, and some people can actually see the color red as the color green. What is up with that? It's true. I was like, what's up with that?
So there's I think there's at least two different kinds of color blindness. I forgot the names of them, but one of them is when you they're not called stigmatism, by the way. Stigmatism is one eye sees better than the other. I have a slight stigmatism, but the color blindness is there's at least two. One of them is when you can see when you can't see any color. Okay, so you just see sepia and everything looks grayscale. The second kind is the most common, when people can't see certain colors. Okay, so let's see if I have a very mild shade of purple in between a bunch of spots of light red. You wouldn't be able to, a colorblind person probably wouldn't be able to see it. And I know I took the colorblind test, and I have a friend who's colorblind. We both took the test, and he said, oh yeah, I can't see that color. And I was like, oh wow, I can see it. It's some crazy stuff, man. The doctors, they'll test on that shit.
And that's something fucking shocking, because that's crazy. Imagine how much other colors we can't even see just because of the pupil of our fucking eyes and shit, you know? Imagine how these fucking animals and creatures can see in the dark and we can't see in the motherfucking dark. Think about that.
That's because their cones receive light differently and can reflect light back and forth. You can see sometimes
there's no light. There's no light in the dark. How the fuck? How do you see? There's light in the dark. So I was talking. I remember making this episode about this. There is light in the complete darkness. So how the fuck is that possible? How the fuck is that possible?
There's at least a little light.
You can easily see this fact. It's when you see a cat's eyes and they got infrared and stuff. Infrared is another form of light, a beta gamma type array or something like that. But there's light in darkness. It shows you. It shows the reflection off of the camera from the eyes of a pupil of a cat. So how the hell is the camera completely dark? There's no light, and somehow the cat. That's strange, man. That's fucking strange.
Look, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Okay, evolution. That's the thing. Evolution is amazing stuff. That's why I say people who don't accept evolution, they're ignorant. They fail to make science. Like I said earlier, they fail to make science mold with their current worldview. People who don't accept obvious things like round world, okay, round Earth, evolution, and gravity. People who don't accept those things, they fail to make it mold with their version of reality that they see in front of them when they just need to make it adapt. You see what I'm saying? You study psychology. You know how people, when they come across new information, they either do one thing, they make it mold with their current worldview, or they find excuses for it not to be true. So they need to either change their worldview or change the belief. Okay.
That's why I don't. At 9 times out of 10, when someone's scientific to me, I said that I don't know that, dog. There's a scientific bias. Now I know what scientific bias is. It's usually a 4% ratio, and when you have a whole bunch of scientists come together in a room, and they all focus on one subject, one particular thing, someone always has a slightly different perspective. Isn't that some shit? And then it's twisted. It's called a 4 percentage marginal ratio. Differentiate I was reading about, and I was like, holy shit, man. So no matter what kind of things we do study on, that's why I say I don't know, because I haven't done the research. I tell people, do your research yourself, man, because you don't know if you actually see a quark in that light bulb or that neutron. You may see something completely fucking different. So be careful. If you see on a science textbook, and I try to tell these scientists, I said, it's because you said it's in the piece of paper. They may keep shit hidden from you. They may keep shit hidden from you from the media because they control the media. They're not going to tell you that there's other things around the protons and the neutrons, but you're studying that shit, right? So you got to watch that shit, man. They control. If they don't want you to know, you ain't going to find out. Just like that gay gene. I said, I know there's a gay gene. Why ain't nobody? They talk about the warrior gene. They talk about this gene. Yeah, there's a gay gene. They don't want people to know because, it's mostly predominantly and probably white people and Milanos. Okay, it depends on your case.
I don't know about the gay gene part though. I don't think it's a gene. I think what I think it is from what I've looked up is basically it's trauma, right? So people normally, I don't think there's a gene for any type of sexuality.
Well, okay? How about this? So let me see. I believe there's genes for everything. Okay, so just keep an open mind about that. I think you are either more susceptible to certain things depending on your brain capacity. So let's look at the gene that's more susceptible to being, let's say if you beat a horse, right?
But I don't think that's one.
Let's say you beat a horse. Now, some horses will not basically change. They'll stay the same. So that gene itself, that's the gene you're looking for. The gene that actually makes it so they won't succumb to that suffering, because you can suffer all you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in that case, but there's no specific gene for the gay part. You see what I'm saying? That same gene that you mentioned.
I read somewhere that they have discovered the gay gene way back in 1980s, 1990s, and shit like that. And basically, just like they discovered many genes, they take those things out because it would be considered racism. As a matter of fact, I have a book over here talking about shit like that. His name is Alfred C. Kinsey, okay? And he used to do a biological on, statistics reports on bugs.
Right.
He was
anthropologist.
What was he? He's a bug. He's a bug study. He studied bugs. What do you call that type of individual? Do you know what the name is? That anthropod. He was an anthropologist or something like that. Bio something like that. But he jumped from that to study humans. Yeah, for bugs. The study of bugs is what? What's the name of the study of bugs? That's what he was doing. Okay, so now he went on from that all the way to human behavior and sexual, psychosexual. He was on the psychosexual side, man. And his book is dated back in the 1940s. Think about this. And he tried to get this book pushed through Congress. And I don't know what happened, but they said, no, we're not going to allow this. Okay, I think, you can look it up yourself. His name is Alfred C. Kinsey. And when he there's a movie on him, as a matter of fact, and shit. And I was like, yo, that shit is crazy. He tried to get the movement to where we can separate people with different genes and backgrounds and interests into a certain particular, he tried to do it. And it was a white guy. And I was like, oh, shit, man.
So he tried to basically revamp. He tried to revamp segregation instead of race. He's tried to do it by mind and like personality and shit.
Yeah,
oh, shit. It's cool. But then
I was like, yo, what happened? I said, what happened?
You'll be separated from a lot of family members, though. Okay, because if you do it, everybody's one family. Everybody in your family is usually one race. So it's hard to separate that based on race. But when it comes to thinking, a lot of families.
Actually, he was a geneticism. He was into geneticism, man. The dude was into geneticism. It's very important to understand what overrides human behavior. It's genetics, and they already had thought about it. So they thought about this shit all the way back in the 1800s or some shit. I was like,
Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ!
In the 1800s is when the study of evolution and the study of genes, that's when it exploded. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because from that study of evolution sprouted everything else. When what's his name? When Charles Darwin first went to the area went to the Galapagos and saw those birds with the different shaped beaks, that's when he knew. That's when people started hopping onto this evolution thing. And then that's when people started really getting into race too, because a lot of the German scientists who were famous for their psychology, by the way.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the reason why you might not see the gay gene is I told you before, they don't want people to, alienate other people because of one race. Because I told you before, they found the gay gene. It's more in Milano to crackers. I know I say what crackers are Caucasian. And you can see the history of this, okay, all the way back in the Greeks to the Romans. They were always little fuck boys, the fuck boy toy boys, okay? It was always like that, but they're not going to talk about that because of the fact that they don't want them to be segregated themselves, you know what I'm saying, from alpha to beta alpha,
True.
You know how it works. But other than that, I'm just saying that they're not, the media controls who controls the media. You should obviously know that. Who's going to control, you already know who controls the media. They could put a warrior gene out there. A warrior gene is like a criminal mentality or someone who's just completely doing shit aloof because of his fucking animalistic nature, okay, some shit like that, in a nutshell. But you can look up warrior gene itself, okay, and correct me on that, okay? But other than that, I'm just saying, I was always into a eugenics person because eugenics is a study of genetics, right? So if you do start getting genetics and shit, you understand it's overrides the human behavior. And I always was so fascinated about it because when I was younger, you know how many blacks neglected me and refused to listen to me, man? You know how many blacks kind of picked on me simply because I was saying some shit? Almost all of them, man. When I was in school, especially maybe because this is where I was born and raised, from Brooklyn, New York, the Bed-Stuy area. It was really a lot of gangsters around here. There's a lot of shootings and stuff. So maybe that's the reason.
Inner city black. Look, I'm telling you, every smart inner city black kid can relate to you on that situation. Even
I try to tell guys who are in the hood to get the hell out of there. I see Nipsey Hussle doing some shit, and I said, "What the hell are you going back to fucking look for?"
I keep saying,
why did you go back there? I said, "Yo, you can't help them motherfuckers. They gonna kill you."
Exactly. That's why ain't nobody tried, because they got fucked up mentalities. He tried to change a bunch of people, a community, right? Whose parents don't even want to change them. It starts at home. It starts with the parents. If the parents don't try to enforce some kind of common sense and decency in those people, there's nothing he can do there. He might as well take his money and leave.
The thing is that the whole flaw with the whole system is the mothers, because the mothers, you see what the mothers do. Did you just see that video where them women they fighting in the streets in it's Canary bars? I got oatmeal.
Yeah, it's always
oatmeal. Them bitches was fighting in this Canary. They don't give a fuck. Them black bitches don't care. I said, I thought them bitches were extinct now. No, them bitches still exist. My boy BMT was showing a video with them half naked fighting each other and shit in the street and shit. And I'm like, they're crowded at each other. I'm like, for real? They don't care about the AIDS.
Look, dude, they didn't care about AIDS. They still slept around and caught AIDS. Why would they care about coronavirus?
God damn! I was like, they was half naked. This is a hood areas. They all fighting over toilet paper and disrespect and who's hottie and who's not, who got ratchet, who doesn't. I'm like, this one woman. Go ahead.
You ever saw the movie Idiocracy?
As a matter of fact, somebody told. This is the third time I keep hearing this. I might as well watch the movie.
Nigga, you're supposed to be the one watching that movie. You're supposed to be the number one person watching that damn movie, bro. You can laugh
I don't know how to spell the word. I use idiotic. How you spell idiocy?
Idiocracy. IDIOCRACY.
Okay. OCRACY. Idiocracy movie. I wrote it down on my paper here. It's just okay. I didn't get to it. Maybe it's not on Netflix. It may not be on Netflix. If it's not on Netflix, I ain't for it.
No, go to Putlockers. Go to Putlockers. Free websites, man. You ain't got to pay. You can watch movies for free. Don't be stupid.
Wait. Where can I watch it? I'm not stingy or not. I'm not lazy or stingy. Where can I go on my YouTube app? Huh?
Don't go to YouTube, fool. Go to a web browser. Open your web browser, okay? Open Chrome or something, whatever you use. Go to putlockers.fm.
Okay, Putlockers, PUT?
Yeah.
Putlockers what?
.fm.
.fm. Okay, I'm gonna go see if I can get it for free on my. Cause I'm like, damn, what the hell is up with these movies? It's the third time I think, cause
Cause that's the website you can get free shit from, free movies, especially if the movie came out 10 years ago. Cause Idiocracy came out like 15, 16 years ago, and it's a real good movie. And you can download shit if you wanted to. Use torrents. You got to get smart about this stuff, man. I thought you look, if you're living in 21st century, you got to get technical.
Is bliss. I don't know, and I'm gonna do the research. As a matter of fact, I have more connections to the internet than you do. Because I'm on Twitch, I'm on fucking Mixer, I'm on YouTube, I'm on everything, man. How many outlets do you have?
I'm not social. I don't care about I don't show my face.
You're not social, but you're on media.
Yeah. I don't show my face.
Okay.
I have an Instagram account with over almost 600 followers, and I don't show my face on there. They don't even know what I look like.
See, the thing is that with Instagram, I don't try to have no followers. I got some followers, but I don't follow people. Okay.
Why is that?
I'm real like personal on the goddamn Instagram. I don't really be on Instagram, but I got an Instagram account, 2 of them. I got one for relationships and one for goddamn just for showing off and shit. I don't talk on Facebook because you can't talk for long periods of time on the Instagram. It's just pictures and shit.
Yeah, I just post a meme, hashtag it, and people come and they like it and they follow me. I'll show you proof. You get proof.
My Instagram, one of my Instagram accounts is linked to all my Giglioer accounts and shit. Sometimes them bitches be hitting me up and said, if you're smart in Match.com, look for me under unique_man_1_. I mean, people don't use underscore, but I put that shit in there secretly, and women who know how to read, they'll find me and shit, and they do sometimes, but they don't qualify though half the time because they be some fat bitches.
Oh my god, I really don't like fat women, but like I said, bro, yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you my Instagram if you don't believe me. With the almost 600 followers, I gained a follower.
I saw your Instagram. I'm still. I didn't associate to you. I seen it, but I don't know how many followers you had though.
Yo, you what's it called? Red Pill Truth Bombs? Because that's me.
Oh, you had to send it to me because I know you're a friend of mine. You're following me on one of my Instagram, but I told you I don't be on it that much.
Well, yeah, man. Like I said, back to the subject, the evolution thing. There's no way I could go to the Red Pill page and talk about something like evolution because I know a lot of people aren't scientifically literate. They don't know how to make their worldview match science. People don't know how to do that. Like I said, and I'm glad, and that's why I said I'm glad people like Neil deGrasse Tyson do it. People like Mr. Rogers, all them, Sesame Street, they teach people how to mold. They used to how to mold their worldview with science. And I always say it, my famous quote is this. My quote goes something like this: we live in 2 worlds, okay? The real world in front of us and the one in our heads. Your goal should be to make those 2 match as much as possible. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand that?
I wish the only thing I wish when it comes to the scientific community is to have an open mind, because if you don't have no discussion, the first thing I ask for is asking questions and think about the probabilities and possibilities. I don't care how illiterate you are in science, because you don't have the tools to do the research yourself. Since you don't have the research yourself, it's good and fascinating. Just like when I talk about shit, half the stuff sometimes I don't talk about. When it comes to science, half the stuff I just don't know, and I haven't done the research myself, so I don't know. We talk about speculative stuff right here. Okay, now it's just going to be subjective if you haven't done the research yourself, because then that's what I told you before about that scientific bias. Okay, and then we both do the research. We both might see something different. So I haven't in the community of science, most people are not interested in that shit. That's just how it is in most society and shit. That's sad. That's how it is. When you start talking about genetics or something, they're not interested. They don't want. Most women don't like to talk about it. So
poor choices. They know they're choosing stupid men. Okay. But look, I
talk to my wife all of the time. Over there. Okay, you see her. Okay,
I don't see her.
There she go. She's breastfeeding now. I talk to my wife. I say, if you're educated, you will always want to learn. You always want to do something. You don't want to just sit around your ass and instead of looking social network, okay, listening to people talk all the time and they ain't got no knowledge and you ain't do no research. I can't stand it.
You got to be careful. Research is only half of it. The other half, okay, is experiment. Okay, you got to remember to do experiment.
Doing it yourself, right? Right.
Exactly. Like, right? Like, if you ever get suspect, like you say, hey, do creatures evolve? Do they adapt? Okay, you got some insects at home? Go buy some insects online. See if they adapt to the environment, because they will. Insects and bacteria can evolve real quick, and that's proof of evolution.
And as a matter of fact, there was a man who, you could look this up yourself. I'll be on the internet for hours sometimes. There's this man who did an experiment with the yolk of an egg, right? And put it in a jar. And he had this experiment going on for like at least about 2 years. He added some other organisms in there. You can look it up. It's called the, damn, what the hell is that called? The egg. You put an egg yolk. Yeah, this white guy, you know, is usually a white guy. You know, black people will be saying, "Oh, I can't stand when people have those debates with me. I don't want to talk about those debates too much. Just do enough research, you'll find out what I'm saying is truth, though. But this guy, it's usually white guys, okay, people who just curious and got a lot of time on their hands. He put this egg, he took the yolk of an egg and made a gelatin. And this creature, some deformed creature came out. He said when he sticks his finger in it, it electrocutes him. Okay, he just bioengineered some bullshit. I said, I don't believe that. I think he had the experiment for at least about 6 months, and it's still living. He feeds it. He literally feeds it little tiny microscopic molecules of thing, and it poops out. It poops. So I don't know what the name of the title is, but he did an experiment with an egg yolk. It's something with the egg yolk. He said, you know, egg yolk has life in it, right? So he put it in a jar and he put it in a container. You can see it. And it's still on the internet. I hope it's still there.
Yeah.
When you keep looking, you'll start seeing some crazy, strange shit on the internet, man.
I'm sorry to tell you, that's been debunked, bro. That was fake. It was called the homunculus. Yeah, it was the homunculus experiment. The dude did a homunculus. He took some of his nut basically and put it inside of an egg.
Yeah. Okay, I think so. Yep. He added something in there and he good.
And then I seen how he faked, and I was like, this dude is so fake. Because if you try,
it was fake too. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. But how was it debunked? Did somebody go to this house and actually tear it down?
No, they tried. Many people tried it and nothing happened. It was fake.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, these because you gotta understand, like he probably got the egg from a fucking grocery store, okay? Those eggs at grocery stores and sometimes the ones at farms, they be refrigerated, meaning that all the cells in it of them, they fucking die. Okay? All the life dies. They can't live at those temperatures. So that's another thing. It's like you got to put so many pieces together. You got to first, before you do some research, you got to also know one thing about this subject. You got to know something else. You got to know something else. Or otherwise, as soon as you see something, you'll believe it. That's another thing. You got to do background research.
When I first saw that shit, I don't know the name. The way you say it, I can't pronounce it. I can't even say Afghanistan. Okay, my wife. Hey, say chocolate. My wife say chocolate. Say chocolate. She said chocolate. That's the correct way to say it. That's the correct.
There's no way you have Asperger's then, because Asperger's are really good with language.
You say what?
There's no way you have Asperger's syndrome, because people with Asperger's are really good with language.
Not necessarily, not all of them, not 100%.
Yeah, but I saw your results. I'm like, yeah, this man, there's no way. I'm thinking, there's no way. The way
I know complex. I know like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. See, but it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. Like for example, like if you say Afghanistan. You know, there's a slur there somewhere. She can flip her tongue very well.
Yeah, because they talk like this over there.
Right? And then she said, you know what she said? She said chocolate. I said, that is the correct way of saying it. Most people say chocolate. Okay? And Asperger's might say chocolate. Okay, but the correct way of saying it is chocolate. Okay, and I was like, oh shit, you're right about that. We are some dumb motherfuckers. Okay,
because English is one of those languages where if you come from another country and you speak that shit, then you're gonna sound different than if you speak from the country. You see, English is one of those rare languages. That's why it's so superior, where you can speak it with so many accents. Other languages, you got to get the accent right, or you'll sound like a complete oaf.
Mm-hmm. That's why. You remember that guy who was on the show, Garvey?
Yeah, I can speak German. And when that happens, oh shit. Oh, my battery's not. I can speak German, and when that happens, if I'm not doing the accent right, then native speakers are like, what the fuck are you saying? Because I say it right, but if I don't get the accent right to their dialect, then it sounds completely crazy.
Remember that Nigerian guy who came on the air the other day? I was talking to him about your accent. I can't understand him half the time, but he got a little offended when I was talking to him. But he said he want to come back on. He's going to be back on, but other than that, okay, I told him, I said, your accent it's very either too low to hear, and your accent is adding in there, so it makes it a little hard to hear. Sometimes a person can have an accent.
I gotta go quick.
Okay, all right, man, we can do another video.
All right, cool.
All right, I'll talk to you later. I'll put your information up.
Cool, deuces.
Peace. So, boys and girls, as you can see how exciting it is when people actually join my feed, you basically should donate to his cause and donate to my cause, and we all should say kumbala and shit. And he was just talking about Neil deGrasse and evolution, and so you know how you go, and you're not a hoe unless you're a female. All right? Okay, there you go. But other than that, I imagine how hard it is for a person from another country. Let me see if I can add him. He said, okay, oh shit. Oh no, let me see. He said he wants to come on. Okay, let me see. There we go. Some trainee said she's gonna come on. I got some trainee who's supposed to come on here and talk about how the life of a trainee and shit, but she ain't come on yet. She says she's shy and stuff like that. You know how it is with them psychological functions and shit like that. But I don't make fun of people, okay? I do make fun of people when I'm in the mood, but you can make fun of me too. I got a crazy ass nut head, coconut head. My wife looked like a witch half the time, okay? And she speaks chocolate, okay, right? You say chocolate? Stop But you know what? I digress here. Let's continue on now with the subject now here. So we had a great conversation about multiple things. You see how we all over the goddamn place, guys? You see how many places? my wife is sore right now. But anyway, Kindred versus Soulmate, okay? Please understand, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter fan, okay? You look at my stream box and look at my PayPal and my goddamn, oh no, I put the PayPal in. Okay, I also have like a Cash App as well. I'm on anchor.fm/emeraldpill. I'm on Spotify. Okay, you know how to follow me in the description box. I will post his information up there, and I hope you can donate to him too as well. But of course, let's go on to the next subject, y'all guys. You ready? Are you ready? Okay, now this next subject is, okay, I might be disturbed again, and somebody might pop up in here. I gotta take my wife to work in about half an hour, so I gotta be careful with the time now here. Kindred versus Soulmate. I want people to understand that I'm not your average man. I'm not your beat up man. Okay, don't worry, I got plenty of things to talk about. I just don't want people watching me. Throughout my whole video is fucking interesting and shit. And so a kindred spirit is basically this, okay? In a nutshell, is someone who's just like you, about 90%. 90%. That means that they may be slightly taller than you. They might completely look different from you. Okay, but most of the time, if you're talking to a kindred, they say 4% of people in the world actually beat their kindred spirit. 4% of the people actually beat the kindred spirit means that you have almost everything in common. That means you are compatible down to the T of what you wear, what you think, how you think, how you act, your personality, how you fart. It's this so close. You're just so close to meeting that perfect person. And that is what you call a kindred spirit, peoples. People usually get it confused on what the fuck a kindred spirit is. And I said, that is not your kindred spirit. Oh, he's my kindred. No, he's not, because you made him out to be a soulmate today. Now, a soulmate is who you make out to be. That means they had the mold and conform themselves to shapeshift the way you like them to be, not because of themselves. Like, no two people are alike. Exactly. No one's 100% 100 guaranteed to be exactly alike, unless you're born as twins. But even twins are completely different in some sense today. So it's never, no one is 100% to the T. Someone either has an extra grain of hair, someone has something slightly different with their faces, or their personality quirks. But please understand those differences. A lot of people, about 30% of the population, they usually say, or even more than that, if you want to speculatively be subjective about the matter, okay, they say they meet their soulmate. And when they say they meet the goddamn soulmate, guess what, you guys? Then they had to mold them, or the guy. I want the guy to be 6 foot tall. That's and no, he has to be my soulmate when he's 6 foot tall. Okay, that's not that's not a kindred spirit. Let's make sure you clarify that. That's my soulmate because he's 6 foot tall. Okay, that's what women look at. He's 6 foot tall, and you're dark in chocolate. Okay, you know everybody loves chocolate over vanilla. Okay, most people do. Okay, right? So please understand, I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. But I got plenty of things to talk about. I'm not running out of things to talk about. I'm just thinking about because every time somebody come on here, I take a little pause and breather. No, my breath don't smell because I spray everything around and my mouth is clean and shit like that. I like to use alcohol. I smell like an old person, as a matter of fact. If you want to smell your own breath, do you know what you have to do? You take your tongue, take your finger. As long as you ain't touch shit, you ain't touch a doorknob, you know you get canary bites and wipe it on your tongue. And smell it. Now, the back of your tongue is the best area. If your fingers stink, that is how your breath stink. If the back, if you touch the back of your tongue, you don't scrape your back. See, people don't understand how to be hygienic at all. When you brush your teeth, you have to actually floss. So that takes another half an hour to an hour and shit. It takes a while, man. Then you got to scrape your tongue. I tell my wife about this shit. She came from Ethiopia with shitty teeth. I had to get them shits clean, okay? They have calcium in their water. Understand that's the truth. But other than that, I digress here. If you want to meet your soulmate, it's easy for women to meet their soulmate because it's either a man can have their soulmate. If a man don't pay for the pussy, if he's not paying for it, he will never meet his soulmate. Okay, he would never meet his soulmate unless he has to go to a faraway land 9 times out of 10, because most women in developed countries are not going to be his type. He's just going to get caught up in the purgatory, perpetualness, and limbo because he assumes he's going to be in a delusion to think that he's going to find a soulmate in America or any developed country. As a matter of fact, most guys will not find it. Most guys look at booty and shit. They're more simple. See, women are more shallow in a negative sense, while men are shallow in a positive sense. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Anybody who's watching me, please ask a question so I will know and I can continue. When you meet individuals, you look at them. What? That's the first thing you look. It's their appearance. Okay, most men don't care about faces and shit and titties. They actually care about how tight your pussy is and how good you are in bed. They actually care about that overall in all looks. But sometimes guys can make a mistake and say that bitch is ugly as hell, but don't know how she is in bed. You know that's a fact, right? But anyway, men are positive in the shallow sense because of the fact that they look at a booty, they look at a titty, and they get aroused. That's how fast it works. That's how motherfucking fast it works, right? But what turns a woman on fast? A man's personality? Hell the fuck no. Men don't really care about women's personalities as long as they get that booty, right? So they might have to pay a pretty penny for it because they're fucking beta cucks. They gotta pay a pretty. The most I'll pay on a nice looking face is a cup of coffee, motherfucker. And you have to understand, when I have a cup of coffee with you, I'm a dangerous motherfucker. I've always been complimented when I have conversations with women. As you should already know, I'm talking to myself. Am I talking to myself? Hell the fuck yeah. Imagine how I would talk to you in person. And how much you will have to pay just for me to keep up and just hang around your ass, and then you have a pattern, a frequency that I can't even stand. You see how my wife just sit over here on that phone? Stop showing me. You're beautiful, right? People don't believe I'm married and shit. That's crazy, right? People don't believe that I was a gigolo. People don't believe anything I do, right? But I don't talk shit. I don't talk the truth. No, I'm not talking about. Go in another room. I told you already. I'm doing a video, and you better not turn that TV on. Wait. I'm almost done. So I'm going to continue talking about a soulmate. So when a man looks at a woman in a positive attribute simply because of titties and ass and how tight the fucking pussy is, they don't think about money and shit like that. They don't think about personality and shit like that. That's a great thing. But the problem with it is that they can get taken advantage of if it's just about that pussy. Okay, just that pussy. Because the pussy's terrible, he going to be running like a motherfucker. Okay? Right, you guys? You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to females, however, what turns them on the most? Not a man's looks, not a man's dick. It's mostly money most of the time. We should know that's a fact too. Everything is money, right? I've been told this countless times by racist crackers all the time, and hillbillies and rednecks and cavemen and shit. And they tell me this, I get my information from them, and Italians too, motherfuckers. They say family is a business and shit. When it comes down, that's them. You fucking with my money. You fucking with my money. That's the alpha. That's how I'd rather take that side than the loving side, because you don't get no trade off with love. Okay? That's an affection that can be faded over time, because women can get greedy. So women will look at a man and see his substance through what his job and occupation is. Then she'll probably look at his looks. Then she'll probably think about, okay, peanuts and pockets. Like I told you before, it's about peanuts and pockets. Now, peanuts and pockets is basically how much money, how fat your fucking wallet, your fucking pockets is. And then you think about your peanuts. But peanuts don't mean too much to her, because if you have the biggest dick in the world, she can still screw your ass over. But anyway, I digress here. So if you want to make someone out to be who you want them to be, then that's basically a soulmate. You are building a man like an avatar in a fucking video game to make that man to what you want. And most of the guys will succumb to the pussy because of the fact that they ain't got nothing else to worry about. Because I don't worry about pussy too much. You see how the way I'm talking, you guys? If my wife act like a bitch, I say it right in front of her. I don't hold my tongue. I'm Donald Trump, motherfuckers. Lots of people don't like me because I'm alpha. But anyway, we got that kindred spirit. We got that shit out of the way. We have to understand what know thyself means. Know thyself means that the more alpha you become, it doesn't matter if you're a female or a male. And you know what I want to talk about right now? So as a matter of fact, what came to me, okay, I don't know if he made the video or not, but I'm going to narrow it down. I made a video a little while ago. 5 main traits for finding or controlling a woman. I'm gonna rephrase it. Perfect. So I'm gonna talk about that in the next video and shit. But I talk about other things now. Since we're gonna talk about that, I got so much shit to talk about. There's a 7G, there's an 8G in Norway. My brother told me, in Hawaii they control the shit, and I was like, holy shit, man. Okay, holy shit. There's a lot of shit I want to talk about. How to tell if females are sexually aroused just through sexuality and through romance. What the hell does romance means? Lots of shit I want to talk about. But anyway, what else did I say? So let's talk about the last thing I said I was going to talk about. Divorce distributions. If you stay with me that fucking long, divorce distributions, you guys, then you deserve to hear this, because I want to get the hell out of here. Because I got to take my wife to work and shit, because she did some right things. She did some righteous things. So I got to take her to work. She do things for me. I do things for her. What the hell is going on? Is that the poison? The hell is that? I see big old tankers driving by with red canisters. I never saw them come over this way. I think they're going to put that shit in our waters and shit. Yo, for real? Big old truckers, tankers and shit going by here. But anyway, divorce distribution means this, okay? I think the court should basically go with, okay, this guy is a multi-mogul. He's a multi-billionaire. So if he could just afford just one little bit amount of money, I think it's up to him to give to her or not. Okay, regardless. So if I'm in a relationship with a female who basically is a multi-trillionaire like Oprah and shit, it's up to her to give me any form of money if she wants a divorce, if she wants to depart from me. You are not entitled. This is the problem with the fucking marriage thing. I'm entitled to all your shit when I'm married, and there is no incentive for men to get married. And I refrain from anybody trying to. The reason why I got married because my voices told me I had to, because I didn't want to leave Ethiopia. It basically told me if you don't marry this woman, you're gonna have to travel back and forth for some pussy, and you ain't got no time for that shit. Okay, I don't want to keep my daughters there because I do want to raise my daughters in America, and I wanted to homeschool them, but my wife didn't want to listen. So that's a whole new ball game in itself. So the courts can actually fix all this shit by making the stipulation upon marriage. There's no need for prenup because that's a business. But the oligarchies and the Jewish and the effeminists are always wanting to make sure that women have something when they leave the relationship. And that's not right, dogs. That's not right. That destroys humanity. That destroys mankind in itself. Okay. One thing will lead to another. And women would just want to get married to all of the fools in the motherfucking world. Right? They want to get married. I want to get married. Every time I hear all single names, and I never been in there, I hear that fucking song. Hey, you're back. What happened? Your phone is charged again?
Yeah, my phone was being retarded.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get out of here in like about 10 minutes because I take my wife to work. So what I was just talking about is divorce distribution. I was talking about how they need to refresh the system into where if I'm married to Oprah, right? And she's a multi-trillionaire, it's up to her to give me any form of money right?
Say multi-trillionaire.
Multi-billionaire, whatever. Okay, it's Oprah. You married to Oprah, and you go to court. Okay, I don't care if you're your boyfriend. I don't care if you married. Marriage is a fraud overall. We should know this for men, particularly. There's no incentive for it. But if you go to court and you get caught cheating, or she just basically said, "Okay, I just basically want to separate myself." Okay, you're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled. You don't want to listen to her. You're not entitled to anything. I think they should just cut it down like that. But if you get caught cheating, you deserve something if you can find the proof of it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you got to have proof for things these days. And you just can't get divorces without settling everything because of somebody standing there distributing your money that you earned, right? And that's not fair.
Right.
Okay. What do you think about that? Hello?
Man, the shit about the divorce, about that marriage and divorce. I just know I don't want to get involved. It's just extra complicated
so that's
bullshit.
I'm telling you right now, this is how the courts work. If your wife lies, like my wife, she lied about the abuse matter, okay, the PFA and stuff like that, you're gonna be put out of your own house. It's that simple. If she lies, she dies, right? But other than that, you can't do anything about it. As soon as you go to court and she makes up any story, even if there's no evidence, you will lose part of your property and your rights. Due process is out of the window because if you're ignorant about the law, you wouldn't know how to fight and how to activate due process. It's called il conte, okay? Some shit, you can actually fight against it, but still, that shouldn't be like that because a lot of people don't know the law that well. So you go to, she takes you to court because of something. It could be something slight. It doesn't matter. If you're married, I truly believe, even if you are boyfriend and girlfriend, yes, you can. You go to, if she takes you to court, you're screwed. Okay, you are going to lose if you don't have no education upon the law system. I'm just trying to tell you from my experience, okay, that if you go to court and you're married or even have a girlfriend, that's why I used to in my past. I never brought the female over. If I brought the female over my house, I kick her out when she pisses me off. But most of the time, black females don't call on you. They don't call the police on you and shit. They don't. To me, they haven't called the police because probably because my dick size and my personality. But I've pushed a couple bitches down out of my house. Okay,
it's insane.
But don't do that shit to a white chick. Okay, just be careful. Okay, I hear a lot of stories, man.
Yeah, listen to the stories. But look, I was just talking to a relative about another issue, that antivirus.
Okay.
Antivirus.
Go ahead.
Antivirus.
What's an antivirus? Give a definition.
Okay, what came up in your head the moment I said antivirus?
A virus, just like the virus, but to fight poison with poison.
Right, but were you thinking about a computer internet security, or were you thinking about, coronavirus? Which one were you thinking about?
It could be both. It could be metaphorically for both. When I say antivirus, I see those little programs. Huh?
What's the first thing that came up in your head?
The first thing that came up in my mind is like someone that looks like the virus itself, like Antichrist, but they look like the same. They look the same, but they do different things. Like they fight, they combat against each other. It's a religious cult. It's a cult to me because they put a program on your computer, and that could be a virus itself. You're actually putting another virus on your fucking computer so it can fight against the other viruses. You know that fucking McFay, that McFay shit that they say that Norton and shit. Those are different type of viruses they're putting on your computer. The fight, it's like a vaccination. Vax, VAXX, and you don't understand how it works until it's too late.
Exactly.
When it's too late, the antivirus is a virus. Antivirus. Anti means against. It's an oxymoron, right? So anti, I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, if you just trying to think about it, that's what I think.
True. Even just like they say anti-terrorists have guns and rocket launchers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They can cause as much destruction to the town as the terrorists can, okay? You should know if you ever played Counter-Strike.
No, I play Call of Duty. I play all of them games. I play Fortnite. I don't know how many games I play with war games. The one thing I hate about war games is that if it's too realistic, it's not that fun.
Yeah, like that. My brother can attest to that. He had that World War One game, I think it was, but it was like it was a little sci-fi, a little steampunk added to. I'm gonna say 25% steampunk. The rest was realistic. It was it was Battlefield One.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Battlefield One. It was realistic as fuck, but I was like, that ruins the experience. Maybe in the future,
what I think? You know, if they want to make a real game, make it realistic as possible. So let's say you playing the game, okay, right? This is my thing with Call of Duty and those realistic, like what do you call it, playground and all that stuff. You know, I played all them, and I said, no. If you get shot one time, you're gonna bleed. You're gonna bleed, depending on where the bullet hits, right? So make it realistic to the point to where, if you get shot in the leg, you're not going to run too fast, and then there'll be a marker on you. You're targeted. You are fucking targeted. You're not going to escape. You need your help. You need your combatants to help you out of that area because you're a wounded soldier, right? Right?
Yeah.
You get shot one time. The bullet has to be marked like a marksmanship bullet. So if you're shooting a regular 9mm, right? This is how I think it can be fun. It can be fun. I know you have armor. I know you do, but you got to find the armor. You got to find the fucking armor, not the armor like in the video games though. If the armor is like top grade and shit, you're not gonna be moving that fast. Common sense would say that. There's no technology yet to where you got a full case ironclad armor on you, and then you're gonna get hit with a stray of bullets, and then basically survive. You're not gonna be able to do that. If you make it realistic as possible, it can be more funnier. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, but they gotta know how to do it right. People don't really know people don't know how to balance realism with fun. They don't know how to equate the two, but it can be done.
Yeah, I believe so. Like for example, like I know people might take my idea, but this is near the 56 mark though. I say in video games, if you want to make video games funner, if you find the bullet that actually shoot and heal you at the same time. So let's say I shoot you and you do find that bullet that actually heals you. If you do find that bullet, it's a hard bullet to find. And if you do if someone gets hit with it, that person, you won't be able to hit that person again. So it's kind of balanced. So let's say, for instance, some guns can mark you, while some guns will basically can shoot around corners. So they got guns that can shoot around the corners and shit. You got laptop guns and shit. You got guns that actually can walk, like Borderlands. I think about Borderlands, and I think about how many opportunities they have lost in the game to make it like a quick type game where people can fight against each other, and work together. There's a new game out called Bleeding Edge. Bleed Edge. You heard about it?
Bleeding Edge. No.
Bleeding Edge. Yeah, they're playing it right now. Everybody playing it. It's a fighting kind of / shooter type. You people fight. You actually fight against each other. And I felt that was that looks like a good game, but it mightn't be unbalanced. It has to be balanced to a point to where it's that fun. If it's not balanced and somebody cheats, okay, we got a problem because I hate cheaters. Man.
With every new game, right? With every new game mechanic, there's always trouble balancing it, right? So, for example, the first game that ever used physics was made in 1997. It was a Jurassic Park game, believe it or not, and it was the first game that ever used physics, realistic physics. You just drag barrels and shit your arm, and like dinosaurs died and they turned to rigid bodies or whatever, and it was unbalanced. The gameplay sucked, but then they started working on it more and more, and it got better. The same thing with Dark Souls. Okay, Demon Souls came out in 2009, and guess what? It was unbalanced. They had something stupid called World Tendency, right? And it's only on PlayStation 3. That's the only console you can play it on right now. And it has something stupid called World Tendency. And when you playing with other people, when this multiplayer is even fucking worse when there's a new mechanic, because sometimes when people can be super overpowered and come into your game and just wreak havoc on you, destroy you with one hit. Okay, so they need to be able to balance shit while making it fun. Fun and balance and realism is all issues.
And that's what I'm saying. They have the matchmaking thing, but they don't understand that they should analyze the armor and your experience, because sometimes there's cheaters. I'm telling you, man. Matchmaker. Matchmaker means that they try to find an equal level, but sometimes them different levels they cheat. And that's what I don't like about this shit. I don't like cheaters. That's why when I play Call of Duty, I'm like, how the hell am I getting shot when I'm between the concrete wall? And I know they can't see me. Sometimes them individuals can see through walls because they're cheating. You don't know. Okay.
PC is a waste of fucking time, honestly. Unless you play it for fun. If you plan it to be serious, don't do it. It's not. You won't be serious on a PC game if you competitive, because people fucking cheat every chance they get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's what games
man,
like.
I want to talk about.
What's that?
Go ahead.
What you were saying?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about something before I get out of here, because I got to take my wife to work. It's like 4:40 and shit.
Oh shit!
I want to talk about that. My brother told me they have 7G and 8G in Norway running up and running, and I was like, "What are you talking about? 7G, 8G, Norway, and it's controlled by Highway. Okay, you know, the Japanese company over there. They're very rich.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't believe him, but I'm gonna talk about that in the next episode. And shit. I'm talk about alphas and unicorns and shit like that. So I got so much stuff to talk about, but I can't get to everything in this video.
Oh my god!
It's nice talking to you, man. Thank you very much for popping up in here. You could do a video chat later if you want, and I'll join it. Just send me the link as usual. Well, other than that, thank you very much for joining, Rag. I appreciate it very much. I always enjoy your company. I'm glad we talking and stuff like that. We have to move on. We can talk like this. It's so free.
Yeah.
See, we just talk about one subject all the time, and we will animate it and shit. It always becomes something of a gem. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I appreciate you popping up in here, and you have a good day, man. Okay.
Too, bro. Go and take the work to work, man. Make her earn that money.
Well, she got to do some great things for me before I take her to work, and she does great things. Okay.
All right, man. Take it easy, bro. Peace.
Okay. So, boys and girls, so I'm gonna be getting out of here, and I love you all, but I hate the many of you. You know how to follow me. You know how to donate to his cause when I post it up there, and you know how to donate to my cause. And you should know I'm not your average man. I'm not your Peter Pan. And we will talk about things next time. So we talked about divorce distribution. We talked about kindred soul spirits and kindred spirits. We talked about ratios. And we also talked about what Rad Dad talked about, Neil deGrasse and evolution and antivirus and shit. A couple other shit that we was just running across that you may be able to talk about. So I can actually join in your fucking show and give you fucking views because of my ass, right? Peace. I gotta get out of here, y'all. I gotta get out of here. I love you all. I hate the many of you. 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.